So we're back. We have Mr. Bucknut with us, and we're about to talk about college football week 5. And we have some interesting headlines. We'll start off with Hurricane Ian. Due to Hurricane Ian, there have been 4 games moved this weekend and potentially a fifth, and they're predominantly in the state of Florida because the hurricane's about to hit the coast, as we know. And the games include UCF versus SMU being moved to Sunday at 1 p.m. The University of Florida versus Eastern Washington is being moved to Sunday at 12 p.m. University of South Florida versus ECU will change locations, and they'll be playing at Florida Atlantic Stadium in Boca Raton. That game will still be on Saturday, but they're going to move it to 2 p.m. on Saturday. And also South Carolina versus South Carolina State will be played on Thursday at 7 p.m. And we're still waiting on the word for the FSU and Wake Forest game, which we all know is a battle of ranked opponents, top 25. And we're still waiting on the word for that one. Also, Georgia Tech has parted ways with their coach, Geoff Collins. He's been relieved of his duties after 4 seasons with a record of 10-28 and 7-19 in the ACC. Rumors have it that Mr. Deion Sanders is the leading candidate for the job. Texas A&M wide receiver Anaya Smith will miss the remainder of the 2022 season, and he was a big part of the offense. He suffered a lower injury last week in the game against Arkansas, and Texas A&M will have some holes to fill. Also, Boise State quarterback Hank Batchmere will enter the transfer portal. The veteran signal caller confirmed to ESPN on Tuesday. Batchmere started 29 games over a 4-year career, throwing for more than 6,000 yards and 41 touchdowns. Interesting news that we have for the week. And I seen you were just talking about the upsets, so we can get right into it. Your upsets this week.
I have a lot, man. I'm going to start off with UK. Ole Miss is favored in that game. I have UK pulling out the victory 27-21.
27-21.
I believe they get Rodriguez back, their running back from last year. I think he's off a suspension, so that's big.
Okay. He's pretty good?
Yeah. He had close to 2,000 yards last season.
Oh, wow. And that game is in Kentucky? It's in Lexington?
It's at Ole Miss.
It's at Ole Miss. Okay, I also like Kentucky myself. I see it's a 7-point spread, 54 for the over and under. Yeah, I actually like Kentucky with the over in that game. One of my upsets that I feel would be, I think FSU may go down this week, man. I've been on the whole Mike Norvell train or whatnot, but yeah, I really like Wake Forest. They have explosive offense. Hartman's balling. Unfortunately, they didn't get the win against Clemson last week. But, yeah, I like Wake Forest to knock off. I like Wake Forest to knock them off.
Yep, I like that too. I have Wake winning 52-38.
Wake winning 52-38?
Yes.
Ooh, and that'll be the over. I actually took the under on that game. I know Wake can score points, but I'm not 100% sure if Florida State will be able to score. Oh, well, let's see, 65. Wade's gonna put up some numbers. Wade could put up at least 50, 45 to 50 points. You know what, Jordan? I'll go with the over on that game, and I think the 7 point spread. Yeah, Florida State won't cover it. Wake Forest might cover it actually. So that's interesting. Any more upsets?
Oh, I have a ton, man. I have Texas Tech beating K-State 38-24.
Okay.
And then I have Oregon State over Utah 31-27.
I like the Beavs over that one. Yeah, I took Oregon State myself. I actually took them to cover the 10.5 spread, and I went with the over on that game as well. And let's see, another one of my upsets was, let's see, I think Iowa State may knock off Kansas. Yeah, I like Kansas. I mean, I like Iowa State over Kansas 35-24. And that game's going under.
I actually took Kansas in that game. I like their quarterback. He's actually in the Heisman race now.
Okay.
I like them 28-24.
You like Kansas 28-24?
I think that new coach has got something going at Kansas. And I think they're going to make a statement by beating Iowa State.
Okay.
I also like Mississippi State over Texas A&M, 31-17.
It's at Davis Wade too. Yeah, I did take Texas A&M with the over or whatnot. I think they're playing inspired football right now. We'll just have to see how well the offense, responds on the road because the cowbells will be ringing, as we all know. So yeah, I took Texas A&M, and I took them 35. I actually took them 35-17.
Gotcha. I really think that the team up north and Iowa game is going to be close. I took the team up north, sadly, 17-13, just because Iowa's defense is leading the country in turnover, like takeaways.
Oh, really?
And I think they'll rattle that offense. I mean, they played Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Maryland came out and showed that they were for real,
mm-hmm.
and they rattled McCarthy.
Okay.
Maryland beat themselves. It was a lot like that Texas and Alabama game where the team that should have won didn't win.
Oh.
Because they beat themselves. That opening kickoff led to 7 points. They got in the red zone right away. If they wouldn't have had that, and I think there was a fumble that was crucial. Well, no, Talia threw a pick down in the red zone. It was those 2 turnovers that really shot themselves in the foot.
Oh,
I mean, Michigan didn't look dominant at all. They definitely didn't look like the number 4 team in the country. That was their first Big Ten. That was their first competition of the year, really. I mean, with playing the bottom, really. They played, Hawaii. They played Colorado State.
Mm-hmm.
And who was their other opponent? It was another weak school.
Who did Michigan play last week? Was it Bowling Green? I think it was Bowling Green, right?
Yeah, it was Bowling Green, Colorado State, and Hawaii. So, and they're easily at the bottom of the NCAA Division I FBS. And they got their first big test, and now they face a tough Iowa defense at Kinnick Stadium. It's going to be loud. Their defense is going to cause turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just barely squeaked by the Hawkeyes. I just couldn't get myself to pull off the upset on that. I just think it's going to be really close.
Yeah, I looked at that game. When I was looking at the game, to be honest, I just rewatched what was going on in the Big Ten championship last year, and to be honest, I don't feel like I was a better team than they were last year in the Big Ten championship, and I feel like Michigan is a better team than they were last year in the Big Ten championship. So that's what I really base my decision.
What's your score on that?
Well, I actually got Michigan as, which will actually move us to one of these questions. And it says, if you were a betting man, which two top 25 teams would you guarantee a lock this weekend? And I put Michigan over Iowa, and I gave Michigan to actually cover the 11-point spread, and with a score of 42-17 with the over.
Okay.
And my second one was actually Wake Forest or whatever. I know Wake Forest is the underdog in that game, but I expect them to, cover that 17-point spread. And
yeah, I agree.
Over.
I actually took Washington's 2.5 points against, who are they playing?
Washington State has Cal, and I like Washington State in that game.
Washington. I think Washington right now is the favorite because Pac-12 is actually, what I learned this week is they're actually a division. So they're taking the top two teams' records and playing in that championship.
That's pretty cool.
They moved that to this off season. That was one of the changes.
Yeah.
And so I could see a Washington and USC, or a Washington and really Washington. They should win out the rest of the year. So it's really between Oregon and USC.
Oh, okay.
I would believe that Washington is a lock.
They play a 4-0 UCLA team this week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is UCLA, but UCLA played South close.
South not a bad team.
But you got to look. I mean, it's.
And they have no fans at their stadium, and they play at the Rose Bowl.
That's absolutely crazy. And another news update is the state of California is actually trying to block USC and UCLA from joining the Big Ten Conference and leaving the Pac-12.
Yeah, I seen that. They were saying something about it to be like the destruction of the Pac-12. But Washington plays Cal this week. Cal, they don't play UCLA. They play a 3-1 Cal team, and they have a 4-point spread on that game. Yeah, I expect Washington to win that game for sure.
That's one of my locks. I mean, because Penix, whenever I could even put him in the Heisman conversation, top 6 in the Heisman conversation. And then I have Ohio State over Rutgers, which is a 40.5-point lock. I mean, but I expect Ohio State to go in there and at the shoe win 58-10.
So you expect Ohio State to cover this week?
I do. I mean, they scored 59 points against a Wisconsin defense that's way tougher than Rutgers defense.
Okay. I like that. So if you were a betting man, which top 2 teams in the top 25 would you stay away from this week?
Bama and Michigan.
I actually got Alabama on them myself, dude. And I put Alabama and Who else did I put? Well, I put Vitek on there simply because they're leading the ACC, their division. But if I was gonna stay away, I probably would stay away from that North Carolina State and Clemson game, which I do have Clemson winning 45-20 and covering the 6.5 spread. But yeah, I would probably stay away from that.
I actually am the opposite. I have NC State pulling out the win, 28-21. That's one of the teams that's had Clemson's number, like how K-State has had Oklahoma's number for these last several years. I believe they've been playing, even whenever Clemson won national championships and stuff like that, NC State always
played them pretty good.
Played Clemson tough. And Clemson's they're not a top 10 team.
They just squeeze them by in a weak conference, I feel like.
They played Wake Forest. Wake Forest is a good team. I'm not saying Clemson isn't a good team, but their offense is very inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
Their quarterback play is very inconsistent. They're going to come in and play a tough defense in NC State.
They got a pretty good defense.
They have a pretty good defense.
Okay.
I like NC State at that. Like I said earlier, I have Mississippi State beating Texas A&M 31-17.
Okay.
I think with Anaya Smith being out, unless they can get that run game going, that's really how they beat Arkansas.
Yeah, they couldn't stop A-Chain.
But Mississippi State is going to come in there, and they're going to have that high-flying offense with the crazy head coach. And he's going to pull out one. I mean, I think he'll have this will be his upset of the year.
Okay.
That one game that he just beats down a top 25 program, and I just don't believe in A&M. I'll stick by my word. I think Arkansas shot themselves in the foot with that turnover at the goal line.
Ooh,
he should not have tried to jump. I don't understand. He was 4 or 5 yards out, and he tried to jump and reach the ball. It was second down and goal. So I don't understand that. I don't understand why he just didn't try to run through the line. That really turned the tide of that game. But on the Alabama and Arkansas game, I do have Bama pulling out the win, 31-24. But I think Arkansas is going to learn from their mistakes. I think that was a tougher. Alabama's offense is not there.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's obvious to everybody besides, the Bama bias. I think Bryce Young just because he won last year is the only reason he's still in the Heisman race.
Oh, yeah.
He's had, a couple big moments, but he has not. He threw 2 picks against UL Monroe. He just don't have the offensive weapons this year.
He doesn't. They're really lacking the wide receivers or whatever. They had a lot of transfers out of there as far as the tight end transferred and Jai Hall. They both left for Texas. Yeah, it's been hectic, dude, as far as receivers getting open. I know the guy that transferred from Georgia, Jermaine Burton, he's not really on the same page as Bryce Young, and he just kind of looks scared out there. I can see why he lost his position or whatever to A.D. Mitchell at Georgia.
Yeah.
Let's see, another game. Oklahoma State, Baylor, 2-point spread. A rematch of the Big 12 championship from last year. If we remember that game, the running back, he was just inches away from getting in the end zone.
I think it's a close one.
I'm going to go Oklahoma State.
I'm going with Baylor, 38-31.
I'm gonna stay in the same ballpark, but I'm gonna go 38-35 Okie State.
Okay.
And let's see.
a big team that I'm big on this year is probably my favorite team besides my Buckeyes is the Minnesota Golden Gophers. I think they blow out Purdue 49-14. By the end of the year, I believe that they're going to be like a number 8 team in the country. Really, their next big matchup is against Penn State.
Okay.
And
Well, we can.
they really have a path to the playoff.
Yeah, we can move forward to this. Finish the sentence then. So okay, finish the sentence. The Big Ten East is
the strongest conference in our division in the country.
okay. The ACC Coastal is.
They don't have a shot of making the playoff, but really anybody can beat anybody.
Yeah, the ACC Coastal is wide open. Vitek leads the conference, and this is the same Vitek that lost to Old Dominion the opening week.
And they lost to West Virginia. And they got blew out by West Virginia.
Okay. What about this one? The most surprising 4-0 team at the end of September is
the Kansas Jayhawks.
Kansas Jayhawks. I'm gonna go with the Florida State Seminoles, man.
I like it. It could have went either way.
Yeah, Florida State Seminoles for me. Norville's showing that he can coach, man. He's getting a couple of his guys in there. Unfortunately, I got him losing now. If they do beat Wake Forest, man, that's huge for Norville. Almost as big as the LSU win at the beginning of the season, which we can talk about LSU as they play Auburn this week. 9-point spread in favor of LSU. Does Harsin pull it off?
Hey, let's continue this tonight.
Okay. Cool. Gotcha, dude. Well, yeah, we will continue tonight. We knocked out a decent amount, but we will finish.
All right, bro.
Gotcha.
All right, bye.